Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, foes and those alike, much love to everybody out there. My name is Jason. I am the gardener for the Yahoo and the Torah channel, and I am proud to be serving my Creator in every way, shape, and form that I can. It is an honor to serve Him, and I thank you guys very much for spending this time hanging out with me and hanging out with Yah. And I hope and pray that nothing of the world comes out of my mouth, but it is all sanctified and ordained by our Creator. Because I believe without a shadow of a doubt, His ways are the best ways. I see nothing but success in the Torah. I see a helium balloon where the world says it's a bondage. It is a set of locks, a mechanism to keep you away from the freedom that you should enjoy. But you know, it's funny because that's the same thing that rebel Hasatan said. That is the same thing the wicked one has wanted from all time, is rebellion. He wants to do what they want to do. And if you want to say the laws are too hard for you to carry, then we must first identify which laws that would be that you would have such a problem with. I've never found a law that is unholy. I've never found a law that doesn't make sense if you figure it out. And not only do they keep you alive and keep you in covenant with our Creator, but they keep you in check with life, and they can keep you alive. Because if you are a person who breaks wedlock, then you're a commandment breaker. When you break wedlock, you have no idea what kind of cooties you're getting when you end up in someone else's bed. But those are all curses that you're going to end up with. And I believe the last stats for North America is 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 people has an STD. So promiscuity is very bad when it comes to things like that, and it is a sin. It is also a sin if we drink blood. If we have that medium rare steak, or we decide that for some strange reason we want to drink blood, or we look and see that all the Satanists and all the evil people are drinking blood, not only are they drinking blood, but their blood is all souped up because they're torturing the kids and doing great evil before they drink the blood. The world is not what we think it is, but those are all commandments that we wouldn't drink the blood. And it says we shouldn't drink the blood because there's life in the blood. We shouldn't offer our children to Moloch. When we have an abortion or take an abortion pill, we're offering our children to Moloch. You're strapping into a stallion, a stainless steel stallion, where you're offering your children up to Moloch in the name of convenience. That is a command, and that is something we shouldn't break. We shouldn't envy what our neighbor has, because envy will lead to jealousy, and jealousy will lead to other things. It could lead to murder. It could lead to everything. Those are all commandments that we should not be. We need to be loyal to the only thing that matters. And this doesn't discount our Messiah. The only thing that matters is our Creator's ways. It's His ways above everything else, and that is the way it should be. Because if we would have maintained this road of His ways always, we wouldn't have had to have His Son come be sacrificed in a torturous way and left to die, hanging on a tree. His ways are always the best ways because He is always the one who designed us. He created us. He knows what is good, what is bad. When we stock our refrigerators full of pork, we are going against the Creator's wishes. We are going against what is healthy. There's diseases in the pigs could kill us. But yet it's all on the cross, right? It's on the cross that we can do as we want to live, because we are a rebellious people that somehow is an extracurricular part of the Bible that says the rebellious people who do not keep the laws of God will be saved in a rapture that is going to save everybody so they don't have to go through any kind of pain or torture or any of this stuff, right? That's what modern day Christianity has led us to believe. That is what we believe. How else are we supposed to define it? It's lawlessness. And so today's talk, what we're going to be talking about today is this guy, and it's kind of dark on my screen. Let's brighten it up just a bit here. And this dude if you haven't figured it out, is the baddest dude who ever did it. And he's going to get done by another bad dude who did it as well. And for those who haven't pieced this together, this is King Nimrod. And King Nimrod is just a little itty bitty sliver, our piece of a story, but I'm going to break it down to you now so that it makes sense when we read this. Because I'm still reading out of Jubilees, and I'm still having a blast reading out of Jubilees, and I believe I have this ready. So we have Nimrod, who they believe that he ended up with the clothing that was on Adam and Eve. It was stolen by Ham from Noah. And so it was passed on to King Nimrod, and somehow he had it. But somehow there was a transformation when this guy got it. Like, this guy was somehow human at some point, and then at some point he began to become a giant or a monster, or he always was, because he was out of that lineage. But then when he put on these clothes, he became superpower. He became superhuman. And that it makes a lot of sense. So this dude was a guy that not only was an incredible hunter of animals, but a hunter of men and also a hunter of God, right? This was the guy that devised the plan that they were going to go and they were going to slay the creator, or they were going to take over heaven, and they were going to kick our creator out and put their gods up there, right? And so they created some sort of stargate, some kind of portal, some sort of technology that's, that was there, but now somehow is not, right? So this is what these guys were devising, what they were doing in the great evil. And Revelation 9:11, who says that Nimrod is going to come back out of the pit. Like, this guy was the baddest dude, so he's somehow picked. When the spirit of the Antichrist comes, Revelation 9:11 says Apollyon is going to be coming out. Apollyon is just another name for Nimrod. When the Tower of Babel came and 70 languages were split, all of a sudden, these 70 different language people they used to have the same king, the same God, Nimrod, right? They worship this guy. So all of a sudden, their language is all split. So there's now 70 different names for this same dude. It's the same guy all through history. Nimrod is the mightiest hunter that ever was. But there was a time and a place when this hunter got bested. And this hunter got bested by this picture here. And you guys know what I'm talking about here. This is Jacob and Esau, Yaakov and Esau, right? This is where a story has been told, but because the Bible books have been ripped out, we don't understand it. We believe that this man, Esau, went to Yaakov and said, "Hey, give me some food," and Yaakov was able to give him a bowl of red soup. And he got his birthright. Does that make any sense to anyone anywhere on the planet? It doesn't, unless you have the rest of the details. Because this man was the baddest dude who did on Nimrod. And right before this encounter right here, which we're going to read about, and I don't want to be a killjoy on this whole thing, but I'm giving you what's going to happen so this makes sense. So we can go through this and it makes sense. So this is the story prior to this. It was like either that morning or a very short amount of time before this encounter went down, that Esau was out hunting. Esau was out hunting, and there was King Nimrod and a couple of his guys. And Esau outdid the hunter. The hunter got played. The mightiest hunter that was after our creator got owned by Esau. So in a degree, even though Esau is a bad guy, he was used to take down the evilest dude there ever was to walk the earth. He's evil, right? This is the dude. And so we have Esau, and he went and he slayed this guy and he cut his head off. King Nimrod fell to the hand of Esau. And so when we talk about giving a bowl of soup for a birthright, it makes sense. If you had just killed the king of the world, of the land, the baddest dude, this guy was a blood killer. Nimrod was a bloodthirsty killer, and Babylon was reigned in terror with him, right? They were all into all sorts of great evil, right? This single guy, hunter, out-hunted the very best that there was. And so he was a marked man. He was a dead man walking. He was going to be shot. He was going to be killed. They were going to hunt him to all times because he killed King Nimrod. And so what is a bowl of soup at this stage? And so the baddest dude who outdid Nimrod just got outdone yet again by the baddest dude. Because the grandson of Abraham, Yitzhak, his name is Yaakov, right? He just outdid his brother, and essentially he legally got the birthright that later on his mother had supposedly tricked her husband over. So, guys, let's get into this real quick. And that was awesome. I hope you guys are down with this. I hope you guys are figuring this out with me. Jubilees 24, and it came to pass after the death of Abraham that Yahuwah blessed Yitzchak, his son, and he rose from Kevron and went and dwelt at the well of the vision in the first year of the third week of this Jubilee, 7 years. And in the first year of the fourth week, a famine began in the land, besides the first famine, which had been in the days of Abraham. And Yaakov sawed lentil pottage, and Esau came from the field hungry, and he said to Yaakov his brother, "Give me of this red pottage." And Yaakov said to him, "Sell to me your primogeniture, this birthright, and I will give you bread, and also some of this lentil pottage." And Esau said in his heart, "I shall die." Now, unless you have the background, unless you know that he was a dead man walking, and he doesn't think that he would ever outlive to the point where he would inherit something of any kind of blessing, he said, "I shall die. Of what profit to me is this birthright?" And he said to Yaakov, "I give it to you." And Yaakov said, "Swear to me this day." And he swore unto him. And Yaakov gave his brother Esau bread and pottage, and he ate till he was satisfied. And Esau despised his birthright. For this reason was Esau's name called Edom, on account of the red pottage, which Yaakov gave him for his birthright. And Yaakov became the elder, and Esau was brought down from his dignity. And the famine was over the land, and Yitzchak departed to go down into Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, in the second year of this week, and went to the king of the Pelishtim, to Gerar, unto Avlimelech. And Yahuwah appeared unto him, and said unto him, "Go not down into Mitzrayim. Dwell in the land that I shall tell you of, and sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For to you and to your seed which I give all this land, and I will establish my oath, which I swore unto Abraham your father. And I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and will give unto your seed all this land." Now, the question and why I say everything always ends up at the Torah to begin with is we always have to understand why. Why was Abraham chosen? Why was this lineage of people chosen? What separates this lineage, these people, apart from us today, right? What do we do wrong? What do we do wrong? Verse 11, "And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because your father obeyed my voice and kept my charge and my commandments and my Torah and my ordinances and my covenant, and now obey my voice and dwell in this land." Again, this is the same message that we all have. All of us have the same message. Obey my voice and dwell in this land. And he dwelt in Gerar 3 weeks of years. And Avlimelech charged concerning him and concerning all that was his, saying, "Any man that shall touch him or anything that is his shall surely die." Now this is the king of this area. And Yitzchak waxed strong among the Pelishtim, and he got many possessions, oxen and sheep and camels and asses, and a great household. And he sowed in the land of the Pelishtim and brought in 100-fold. And Yitzchak became exceedingly great, and the Pelishtim envied him. I know it's a tough word. It's a tough word. Pelishtim. Verse 16, "Now all the wells which the servants of Abraham had dug during the life of Abraham, the Pelishtim had stopped them after the death of Abraham and filled them with earth. And Avlimelech said unto Yitzchak, Go from us, for you are much mightier than we. And Yitzchak departed thence in the first year of the 7th week and sojourned in the valley of Gerar." Now, this is coming up into a contentious point. This is coming to a a thing, and I can tell you from personal experience, I've dug 5 of my own wells. And from digging wells, depending on the well, it is a brutal endeavor. Sometimes the ground is easy digging. Sometimes you won't find rocks, a lot of them. Sometimes the entire thing is rocks. But you're just going down, you're aiming down, and you have to break through these rocks. You've got to break down this stuff. And whales are a source of life. When you hit water, then you drop down for as much feet of water as you want. So if you're able to hit water at 15 feet, then you want to go down 25 feet so you have a good solid 10 feet of water, depending on the size of the hole. And so whales bring life. And when you don't have water, you don't have a way to keep your animals. You don't have any way to do any kind of crops. You don't have anything. So verse 18, and this is the contention point between these two different people. And they dug again the wells of water which the servants of Abraham his father had dug, and which the Pelishtim had closed after the death of Abraham his father. And he called their names as Abraham called his father had named them. And he's talking about the well names. So during all the wells, everything has well names. We have well names here. The current well I'm digging right now, I call it the Well of Tears because it is rocks and it will not stop. And I'm like 4.5, 5 feet down. And I believe I'm on some sort of meteor crater thing it's just giant. So we'll see if I can make it out. I'm actually going to do that today. Verse 19. And the servants of Yitzchak dug a well in the valley and found living water. And the shepherds of Gerar strove with the shepherds of Yitzchak, saying, the water is ours. And Yitzchak called the name of the well Perversity, because they had been perverse with us. So this is one well they dug, and it probably, I don't know how long they took or how many dudes did it. I mean, if you had proper dudes doing a well, you could probably do it in a couple of days. But it's a lot of work, and it's dangerous. It's super dangerous. Verse 20, and they dug a second well, and they strove for that also, and he called its name Enmity. And he arose from thence, and they dug another well, and for that they strove not, and he called the name of it Room. And Yitzchak said, now Yahuwah has made room for us, and we have increased in the land. So it took them 3 different wells, right? The third well, finally, they have water, right? These people have probably chased them out for their water. And it's, what do you do when you don't have water? You die. Verse 21, and he went up from thence to the well of the oath in the first year of the first week in the 44th Jubilee. And Yahuwah appeared to him that night on the new moon of the first month and said unto him, I am the Elohim of Abraham your father. Fear not, for I am with you. I shall bless you, and shall surely multiply your seed as the sand of the earth, for the sake of Abraham my servant. And he built an altar there, which Abraham his father had first built, and he called upon the name of Yahuwah, and he offered sacrifice to the Elohim of Abraham his father. And they dug a well, and they found living water. And the servants of Yitzchak dug another well, and did not find water. And they went and told Yitzchak that they had not found water. And Yitzchak said, I have sworn this day to the Pelishtim, and this thing has been announced to us. And he called the name of the place the Well of the Oath, for there he had sworn to Avlimelech, and to Akuzdath, his friend, and to Pico, the perfect, or his host. And Yitzchak knew that day that under constraint he had sworn to them to make peace with them. And Yitzchak on that day cursed the Pelishtim and said, so all this time he had been friends with them and they had not fought and strove and did different things. But then all of a sudden, all of these guys were fighting for water over and over and over. The whole fight for them became about water. And so this curse that Yitzchak is about to curse upon these people, and this curse is going to end for all time. This is he completely dominates these people with this curse. Cursed be the Pelishtim until the day of wrath and indignation from the midst of all nations. May Elohim make them a derision and a curse and an object of wrath and indignation in the hands of the sinners, the other nations, and in the hands of the Kittim. And the Kittim is the Patural. It's an unused name denoting cypress. So a Kitty or Cypronite, hence an islander in general. The Yavium or Romium on the shores opposite Yashrael. Okay, and whosoever escapes the sword of the enemy and the Kittim, may the righteous nation root out in judgment from under heaven, for they shall be the enemies and foes of my children throughout their generations upon the earth. He knew this. And no remnant shall be left to them, nor one that shall be saved on the day of the wrath of judgment. For destruction and rooting out and expulsion from the earth is the whole seed of the Pelashitim reserved, and there shall no longer be left for these Caphtorium a name or seed on the earth. For though he ascended unto heaven, thence shall he be brought down, and though he make himself strong on earth, thence shall he be dragged forth, and though he hide himself amongst the nations, even from thence shall he be rooted out. And though he descended into Sheol, there also shall his condemnation be great, and there also he shall have no peace. Don't mess with this. Don't be cursed by a person of our Creator. It's never a good thing. And if he go into captivity by the hands of those that seek his life, shall they slay him on the way, and neither name nor seed shall be left to him on all the earth. For into eternal malediction shall he depart. And thus it is written and engraved concerning him on the heavenly tablets, to do unto him on the day of judgment, so that he may be rooted out of the earth. So, my friends, that concludes today's lessons. And again, this is when I do these lessons, it's a lesson for me. I read it over and over and over till I try to figure it out. And I hope that I can help you guys and maybe do some audio stuff when you guys are either driving or somewhere else, and maybe burn 30 minutes of your day listening and learning about the word of the Most High. And salvation always begins at the tree. There's no name under heaven by which you may be saved. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, and for the wages of sin is death. There's no other way that we can break the curse of the Torah unless we bring our Messiah into our lives, unless we call upon the name of our Messiah in a prayer to Yahuwah. And they are not the same people. They're two separate entities, right? But unless we bring his name to light and understand and accept that he is the only Son of God. And when they say only Son of God, we are all children of the Most High. We are all sons and daughters of him. But when we're talking that realm, the realm they are in, it's the Son. It's the Son of God, right? And it is his Son that he delivered to us and allowed to be a sacrifice for the system that our Creator set up and the way he wants it to be. And he calls us to be holy people. He calls us not to be renegades. He calls us to be those kind of people that seek him in all that we do. The Torah is meant to be talked about at the beginning of the day, the end of the day, during the day. We are to understand it. We are to know it. We are to base our life about it. It's our litmus test. It's everything that we have. It's everything that we should be about. It's everything that we should be teaching about. If what we are doing doesn't fall into the line of our Messiah and his Father, then we're doing it wrong. If what we are doing is not glorifying the Most High, if the way we are living is living in sin, then we shouldn't expect a kingdom to come. The kingdom to come is for those who are obedient to our Creator and who have the faith in the Mashiach. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Much love. I'm out.